fẹ́ máa wò, ọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ ti ń gbèsè mo fẹ́ gbọ́. Ètò lóríṣiríṣi wọ́n wà lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan, ìròyìn tó kojú òṣùwọ̀n àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ àgbọ́ fi kọ́gbọ́n. Eré wọlé fún tẹ̀rù tọmọ, tèwe tàgbà ẹ má fi para. Ètò TV mo fẹ́ máa wò, ọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ ti ń gbèsè mo fẹ́ gbọ́. Ètò lóríṣiríṣi wọ́n wà lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan, ìròyìn tó kojú òṣùwọ̀n àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ àgbọ́ fi kọ́gbọ́n. Eré wọlé fún tẹ̀rù tọmọ, tèwe tàgbà ẹ má fi para. Àjànàkú kọjá mórí nǹkan fèrè, bàbá rere káwí parí. BGI TV, we are the pace setter. Bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ tẹlifíṣọ̀n station tí dòde.
Ṣé wọ́n ní ẹkú lé báyìí ńlá kára lé, ẹ káàbọ̀ ńlá kéré ọ̀nà. Ǹjẹ́ mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá mi, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá mi, mo kí lọ́mọdé, mo kí lágbàlagbà, mo kí lọ́kùnrin, mo kí lóbìnrin, mo wá ń kí gbogbo ojú tó ń wò mí káàkiri àgbáńlá ayé wípé ẹ kú kalẹ̀ sórí ètò wa, ètò yín, ètò ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń lọ lórí ìkànnì BGI TV, bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ tẹlifíṣọ̀n. Ẹ̀yin aráalé, ohun tá a mú wá lórí ètò lónìí ó dá mi lójú wípé ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó ṣe pàtàkì. Ṣáwọn àgbà bọ̀ wọ́n ní ó ń bọ̀ ó ń bọ̀, àwọn làá dẹ́ẹ̀dẹ̀, torí wípé wọ́n lọ́rùn ó ya ni, kì í ṣọ̀rọ̀ ẹnìkan. Kó tó wá di pé ohun gbogbo ó wá di pé yóò wá polúkúmoṣo, ó ṣe pàtàkì ká kí gbogbo wa, ká sín ara wa nígbẹ́rẹ́ pàkọ́, ká sì bá wa sọ èyí tó ṣe kò mọ́ òkun tí í ṣe òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀. Orúkọ mi ò yí padà, Ọlálékan àrólé bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ ló ń kí yín kú ìkàlẹ̀ sórí ètò wa lónìí lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń lọ. Ǹjẹ́ kí ni nǹkan tá a mú wá fún wa lórí ètò lónìí? Ohun tá a mú wá fún wa lórí ètò lónìí ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó ṣe wípé mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ bá ń ké sí ọmọdé ilé, kẹ́ ẹ bá ń ké sáwọn àgbàlagbà, ẹ bá ń ké sí lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin, kẹ́ ẹ wá nǹkan fìdílé tàbí kẹ́ ẹ fìdílé nǹkan, torí pé ohun tá a fẹ́ mẹ́nubà lórí ètò lónìí ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó ṣe wípé yóò kan gbogbo wa. Ṣùgbọ́n tá a bá wá sọ wípé kò kàn mí kò kàn mí, ìgbà tí ó bá fi kan ẹni tí ó fi kàn wá, a lè mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ kò wá ní í dáa kó ṣe wípé ó dìgbà tí òkété bá bórù mọ́ni lọ́wọ́ ká tó wá mọ̀ sọ pé a fẹ́ wójútùú sọ̀rọ̀ náà. Ǹjẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ mi lórí ètò lónìí yóò pín sí ìpele mẹ́rin ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀. Lákọ̀ọ́kọ́, mo kí ààrẹ wa, ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, ọmọ akọni, ọkùnrin takuntakun. Ọ̀rọ̀ mi ó ń bọ̀ wá sọ́dọ̀ yín lónìí o bàbá, ó sì dá mi lójú wípé gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ti mọ̀ wá lórí ìkànnì BGI TV, àní dalúrú pọ̀ mọ́ sàpàtì, èyí tí bá ń ṣe òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ọbẹ̀ lábàá yín sọ. Àwọn ẹni tó wá ń bẹ nípele kejì tọ́rọ̀ mi ò tún wá tabá lónìí, òun ni àwọn ẹgbẹ́ alátakò tó ṣe wípé ọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà ó yẹ kó jẹ́ lórí ìdàgbàsókè àti ìmúbọ̀sípò lórí ètò ọrọ̀ ajé tí ó mú ìdẹ̀rùn báwọn aráàlú, òun ló yẹ kó jẹ́. Kò yẹ ká wá máa fi ẹ̀mí àwọn ènìyàn, ẹ̀mí àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ká máa fẹ̀mí wọn ta káìtì, torí pé torí kí lẹ ṣe bọ́ sípò náà? Àwọn ta ni wọ́n dìbò fún yín kó tó di pé ẹ dépò tẹ́ wà náà? Tá a wá sọ gbogbo ẹ̀ di nǹkan míì tó wá di wípé a wá mú ìlú, a wá sorí rẹ̀ kodò. Ọ̀rọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà wá ti wá lé débi wípé ara ò rokùn, ara ò fẹ́ ra díẹ̀ mọ́. kí ló wá dé? Àwọn tí ọ̀rọ̀ mi ó tún wá lọ bá lórí ètò lónìí tí wọ́n wà ní ìpele kẹta, àwọn náà ni àwọn gómìnà wa. Ẹ̀yin gómìnà, ẹ rántí wípé wọ́n fi yín ṣe olórí lórí ìpínlẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan ni. Wọ́n sì ní ìka tó bá tọ́ símú ńlá fi romú. Kí ló dé tó wá ṣe wípé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn gómìnà wọn ò ṣe tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, tó wá di wípé ojúṣe tó yẹ kí gómìnà ó ṣe nípínlẹ̀ ó wá di tẹ́ wá dá dáwọn aráàlú. Kì í wá ṣe léhùn nìkan, ẹ̀tọ́ tó yẹ fáwọn ọmọ aráàlú ẹ̀yin gómìnà ẹ tún wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní fi ẹ̀tọ́ wọn dùn wọ́n. Kí ló dé? Ó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ wẹ̀yìn wo ipò tẹ́ ẹ wà lónìí. Àwọn kan ti débẹ̀ kẹ́ ẹ tó débẹ̀, kódà bẹ́ẹ̀ bá kú òun bẹ̀ tán àwọn ẹlòmíì ò tún débẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n tẹ́ ẹ bá ṣe é lẹ̀ òun làbọ̀ á bá. Àríṣe òun laríkà, àríkà sì ní bàbá ìrègùn. Ohun abáṣe lónìí ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀tọ̀ ni ó dà bó bá dọ̀la. Àwọn ìpele kẹrin tọ́rọ̀ mi ó tún wá lọ tabá lónìí, òun náà làwọn aráàlú. Àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà, àwa náà la ní pé kólókó ó mọ ṣọ́kó, àwa náà la tún ní pé kólé ó wá jà. Ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan kan ni mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ kó yé wa o. Wọ́n ní lówe ńlá lùlù àgìdìgbò, ìran àwọn ọlọ́gbọ́n ní mọ́ jó, àwọn ọ̀mọ̀ràn sì ní mọ́. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Nàìjíríà, ẹ má jẹ́ ká ti àwọn adarí wa ń tìkùtì, torí wípé wọ́n ní bá a bá ní sùúrù ó sì òkúta jìnnà. Ẹ lè mọ lérò wípé kéèyàn ó gbapò ààrẹ lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ kó sì bẹ́ júà, ohun gbogbo ó sì bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní yí padà. Ó rọrùn láti ba nǹkan jẹ́, ṣùgbọ́n yóò gba ènìyàn lọ́pọ̀ ọgbà láti lè túnṣe tá a bá lè ní sùúrù. Ẹ̀yin aráalé, ẹ dákun ẹ bá ń wá nǹkan fìdílé, torí wípé ọ̀rọ̀ ń gbọ̀n mí gidi gan ni lónìí. Ààrẹ wa Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, mo kí yín o bàbá. Mo fẹ́ rán yín létí àwọn nǹkan kan ni, torí wípé ohun tó dá mi lójú ni wípé àwọn iṣẹ́ tẹ́ ẹ ti ṣe sẹ́yìn ó ń bẹ lára táwọn ènìyàn wò tí gbogbo wọn fi dìbò fún yín. Kódà àwa gan ò lè gbàgbé tẹ́ ẹ ṣe nípínlẹ̀ Èkó lọ́dún 1999 nígbà tẹ́ ẹ gba ọ̀pá àṣẹ gẹ́gẹ́ bí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn iṣẹ́ tẹ́ ẹ sì ṣe sílẹ̀, a rí i wípé kódà lára rẹ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìpínlẹ̀ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà òun làwọn náà ti ṣe kíni, náà ti sọ di àbádòfin tó ti gbé lọ sílé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin wọn tó sì ti dòfin. Ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, ìgbà tẹ́ ẹ kọ́kọ́ gbapò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ààrẹ orílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà, fún bí ọjọ́ mélòó a rí àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ gbé léyìí tó sì mú kí inú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Nàìjíríà mọ́ ọdún. Kódà àwọn lára àwọn ẹgbẹ́ alátakò tí wọ́n wá bá yín ṣèpàdé, a rí lára àwọn aṣojú tó sọ wípé ìgbà àkọ́kọ́ rèé tínú òun ó dùn wípé ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè òun ó mọ nǹkan tó fẹ́ ṣe pẹ̀lú bó ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ àti ọgbọ́n àti ìmọ̀ àti òye tóun rí tó fi ń ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ àwọn táwọn fẹ́ ṣe nínú ọdún yìí. Ṣùgbọ́n gbàrà ní nǹkan yí bìrì. Ọ̀rọ̀ owó ìrànwọ́ orí epo tẹ́ ẹ yọ, ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, a sọ pé bóyá bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe yọ ìrànwọ́ orí epo kúrò pé bóyá kò dáa, ṣùgbọ́n tá à ń gbìyànjú láti ṣàlàyé fún yín ni wípé ẹ̀yin náà mọ̀ pé kẹ́ ẹ tó gba ipá àṣẹ ipò táwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà wà ipò ẹlẹgẹ́ ni torí pé ìjọba tó kúrò lórí oyè kódà wọ́n fẹ́ sọ gbogbo ìlú dahoro tán. Ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ẹ mọ́ gbàgbé ńgbà tẹ́ ẹ wá sílùú Abẹ́òkúta ìgbà tẹ́ ẹ wá sábẹ́òkúta ẹ sọ ẹjọ́ yé wa wípé èmi ló kàn ṣé èmi ló kàn tẹ́ ẹ wá sọ nígbà náà lọ́hùn ṣé èmi ló kàn láti máa fi ara ni wá ni àbí èmi ló kàn láti mú ìdẹ̀kùn báwo ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ó dá wa lójú wípé pẹ̀lú àwọn ohun tẹ́ ẹ ṣe nípínlẹ̀ Èkó ẹ mú àwọn ohun tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ ṣe níjọba àpapọ̀ káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ṣùgbọ́n tá a fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ ní wípé bàbá àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ gbé ẹ bá wa ṣe ní kọ́mọ́nkóbò kẹ́ ẹ sì rí wípé gbogbo ìgbésẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ bá gbé ẹjọ́ jẹ́ èyí tó jẹ́ wípé àfi dandan kẹ́ ẹ mójútó fúnra yín. Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ já wo sàkún báyìí pẹ̀lú àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ ti gbé nípa ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ààbò nípa àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ àjẹbánu àwọn tìjọba tó lọ gbogbo eléyìí tẹ́ ẹ yìí ń ṣe yìí ojú ọ̀nà lẹ́wà. Mo rántí pé nígbà tẹ́ ẹ wà nílùú Èkó gẹ́gẹ́ bí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ní ó kọ́kọ́ jẹ́ ìpínlẹ̀ àkọ́kọ́ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tẹ́ ẹ ṣe àkójọpọ̀ láti gbé ìgbìmọ̀ kan kalẹ̀ lórí ọ̀nà àti ṣe àwọn ẹ̀kún owó èyí tí wọ́n pè ní state fund torí pé lákòókò ìgbà náà nígbà tẹ́ ẹ délé ìjọba ẹ rí i pé kò sí nǹkan kan lẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ fi ṣèjọba ṣùgbọ́n lákòókò ìgbà náà ńgbà tẹ́ ẹ gbé ìgbésẹ̀ yìí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ ló sọ wípé èyí tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ ṣe yóò yọlẹ̀ ẹ sì ṣe láṣeyọrí. Àkókò ìgbà tẹ́ ẹ wà ní gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó a rí i pé IGR ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ó rú gbọgbọ́ sí i a sì ti wá tún rí i báyìí pé lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà gbogbo ohun tẹ́ ẹ ṣe ń gbà náà lẹ ti ń mọ́wọ́lé lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan. A lù yín lọ́gọ̀ ẹnu lórí eléyìí ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan kan tí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ ni pé Ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ǹjẹ́ àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tẹ́yìn ń gbé yìí ǹjẹ́ ẹ lérò wípé rú àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni gbogbo àwọn tó yí yín ká ni wọ́n ṣe tán láti bá yín gbé? Fún bí àpẹẹrẹ ẹ fún àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ ó ní iye owó tẹ́ ẹ fún wọn tẹ́ ẹ pè ní fún palliative torí ìrora àti ìjìyà táwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà ń dojú kọ. Ó ní iye tẹ́ ẹ ṣàgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ fún ìpínlẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà. Ohun tẹ́mi kàn fẹ́ béèrè ni pé owó tẹ́ ẹ ṣàgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ yìí ǹjẹ́ fún àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba lásán nìkan ni àbí fún gbogbo aráàlú? Torí pé tá a bá gbàgbé irú rẹ̀ ti ṣẹlẹ̀ rí lákòókò ìjọba tó lọ pẹ̀lú àwọn owó kan tí wọ́n gbà láti World Bank lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ fún federal government cares. Lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó dọ́dọ̀ àwọn gómìnà wọ́n ṣe owó náà ṣàkúṣàkú. Iye àwọn tí wọ́n sọ pé kí wọ́n jàǹfààní nínú owó yìí wọn lóore ọ̀fẹ́ láti jẹ́ kówó náà délé ó dóko. Kí wá ní tá a wá ń wí? Ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu gbogbo ètò tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ ṣe lórí àti mú ìdẹ̀rùn báwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà tí ẹ bá mójútó bó ṣe tó àti bó ṣe yẹ àwọn Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn ò ní jẹ́ kí iṣẹ́ yín ó yọ ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ọ̀rọ̀ palliative ò ṣe palliative yìí ó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ ní àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ tí ó mọ̀ lọ sípínlẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan láti lọ ṣe àmójútó báwọn gómìnà yìí bí wọ́n ṣe ṣe owó yìí sí. Fún bí àpẹẹrẹ nípínlẹ̀ Ògùn gómìnà wa ọlọ́lá jùlọ Prince Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún nínú àwọn ìwádìí tá a ṣe ohun tá a rí ni wípé àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba nìkan ló láǹfààní sí owó yìí. Kódà ohun tá a gbọ́ ni pé 10,000 ni wọ́n ń fún wọn èyí lóṣù léyìí tó túmọ̀ sí pé ó sì níye gbèdéke oṣù tó fẹ́ fi fún wọn lówó yìí. Èló gan-an níjọba àpapọ̀ ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ fún àwọn gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Èló làwọn gómìnà wá ń fún àwọn aráàlú. Èèyàn mélòó gan-an làwọn tó jẹ àǹfààní owó yìí. Torílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ò bá ní lọ síwájú a gbọ́dọ̀ fi òtítọ́ àti ìbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run ká fi ṣe ohun gbogbo nì. Ẹ̀yin gómìnà wa mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ rántí wípé báwọn aráàlú ò bá dìbò yàn yín kò sí ní tẹ́ ẹ lè ṣe sí i. Kí ló wáá dé tó ṣe páwọn tí wọ́n wá yàn yín sípò àwọn náà lẹ wá ń fi ayé ni lára. Ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu àkókò ti tó báyìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí tẹ́ ẹ sọ nínú àwọn àkàálẹ̀ yín nígbà tẹ́ ẹ bá gbogbo ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà sọ̀rọ̀. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ rántí ni wípé níwọ̀nba àgbà tẹ́ ẹ bá ti mú àwọn tí wọ́n wà nínú ìjọba tó lọ ẹ ṣèwádìí gbogbo wọn. Àwọn tó bá ṣe wípé ọ̀rọ̀ àjẹbánu ó ní í ṣe pẹ̀lú wọn ẹ já kó wọn lọ ilé ẹjọ́ ká gba owó tó ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ wọn ká lè lò fún ìdàgbàsókè ilẹ̀ wa. Fún bí àpẹẹrẹ ọ̀rọ̀ owó orí ìrànwọ́ orí epo tẹ́ ń sọ yìí tẹ́ yọ kúrò. Gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe tánàdí tí wọn ò fẹ́ kí ọ̀run ó bá ọmọ Nàìjíríà nípa ọ̀rọ̀ ìrànwọ́ orí epo ẹ ṣe pé gbogbo wọn kẹ́ ẹ pè wọ́n sípàdé. Àwọn tó bá yẹ ká fà lé àwọn agbófinró lọ́wọ́ ẹ jẹ́ á ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Gbogbo àwọn àtúnṣe tó bá yẹ á ṣe yìí ẹ jẹ́ á ṣe. Fún bí àpẹẹrẹ ní ìsìn lágbègbè Niger Delta níbi tán ti ń wa epo à ń pariwo lójoojúmọ́ wípé ọ̀rọ̀ epo ṣé ò wá ní gbẹ̀mí wa lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà bí? Torí pé àkókò ìgbà tí wọ́n ti rí epo yìí ní olú ìbírí ìbùkún ló yẹ kó jẹ́ fún wa léyìí táwọn eléèbó ń pè ní blessing. Ǹjẹ́ àwa lè sọ wípé epo tí orílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà rí kàkà kó jẹ́ ìbùkún ṣé àwa lè pè ní ègún báyìí? Torí pé gbogbo àǹfààní tó yẹ káwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà ọmọ jẹ gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ọmọ ìlú tó ní epo tó ní ọrọ̀ epo ǹjẹ́ wọ́n láǹfààní sí bí? Àwọn ìlú tó wá jẹ́ ìlú kéékèèké tó wà láyìíká wa àwa la tún fún wọn ní iná nípasẹ̀ gáàsì. Ǹjẹ́ àwa tá à ń fún wọn ǹjẹ́ àwa gan rí àǹfààní rẹ̀ lò nílùú wa lórílẹ̀‐èdè wa bí? Ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu a mọ̀ pé ẹ ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun gbà tẹ́ wà nípínlẹ̀ Èkó. Ẹ dákun a fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ bá wa ṣe ń tó tọ́ àti ń tó yẹ. Bó bá sì ṣeé ṣe ẹ fòfin gbé gbogbo àwọn tí ó bá yín ṣiṣẹ́ dè wípé ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá ti tasẹ̀ àgẹ̀rẹ̀ ohun tí ó jẹ́ sẹ̀ríà rẹ̀ ní. Débi wípé àwọn gómìnà ẹ yan àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ kan tí wọ́n lọ mọ́ ṣòfin tó tó báwọn gómìnà bá ṣe ń ṣe owó tí wọ́n bá ń gbà láti ọ̀dọ̀ ìjọba àpapọ̀. Láìpẹ́ yìí lágbègbè Niger Delta lórí ọ̀rọ̀ epo tá à ń sọ yìí à ń sọ̀rọ̀ rìfáínárì bó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ẹ sọ láìpẹ́ yìí wípé rìfáínárì Port Harcourt ẹ sọ pé títí ìparí ọdún yìí pé yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ṣiṣẹ́ inú gbogbo wa dùn gbà tá a gbọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ẹ má wàá jẹ́ kó jẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ẹnu lásán ẹ jẹ́ kó jẹ́ ní tó jẹ́ wípé kí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ níbẹ̀ lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ni torí wípé ó dá mi lójú pé tí àwọn refineries orílẹ̀-èdè wa bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ṣiṣẹ́ padà ìdẹ̀rùn ó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni gbogbo ohun tó wọ́n yìí yóò wálẹ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí àwọn NNPC wọ́n ṣe àwárí àwọn ọmọ Niger Delta tó ṣe wípé wọ́n ṣe àrọ́dàrọ́dà refinery fúnra wọn àmọ̀ràn tẹ́mi ò bá mú wá fún yín ni pé tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ ṣe local refinery ẹ ṣe kúkú pe àwọn ọmọ ìjókòó irú ọpọlọ tí gbogbo wọn ní ẹ kó wọn jọ ẹ wo tẹ́ ẹ lè ṣe tó fi jẹ́ wípé ẹ lu ọpọlọ wọn lọ́nà tó dáa láti fi ṣàǹfààní fórílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ẹ já lọ wo fọ́nrán tí mò ń sọ yìí kó lè yé wa ẹ jẹ́ ń dókè lọ́nà mò ń bọ̀.
Stained parts, we arrived at the scene and it's time for men to go to work. It will involve all measures just to unearth what is believed to be concealed. After hours of work, what do we have?
Look at the 3 pipes here. Now you can see the 3 pipes clear here.
This is the point of a suspected insertion and illegal connection. You can see there are 3 pipes here. The big one is a national trunk line, which is the Transfocados trunk line, a 24 inches pipeline. Now you see those 2 pipelines on top of it making a head knock on the pipe. Professionally, this looks unkept. This looks suspicious because it's tapped on top of a traveling crude line. And the question is, why do we have that insertion on a scraped top of a 24 inches pipe, double 6 inches pipe, traveling all the way, and it is suspected to be traveling all the way to the high sea. This is what we have here. Those 2 lines traveling. Those 2 lines traveling and joining up themselves here. To my mind, it tells me it will give it more pressure.
Ẹ káàbọ̀ padà ẹ̀yin aráalé tẹ́ ẹ bá wo fọ́nrán tí a fi hàn yín ẹ rí wípé wọ́n mẹ́nu bà nǹkan kan pé àwọn illegal pipeline àwọn pipeline tí wọ́n pè ní illegal yìí àwọn ọ̀dọ́ kan lágbègbè Niger Delta ni wọ́n ṣe àwọn pipeline yìí torí pé ìjọba ò fún wọn láṣẹ lóòótọ́ ló fi jẹ́ illegal ṣùgbọ́n tó bá ṣeé ṣe kíjọba perú àwọn ọ̀dọ́ báyìí jọ kí wọ́n lu ọpọlọ wọn láti fi lè lò síbi tó dáa kó wá lè mú ìdẹ̀rùn bá ọ̀rọ̀ ìdojúkọ tá à ń dojúkọ nípa ọ̀rọ̀ epo kí gbogbo nǹkan lè padà bọ̀ sípò. Ìjọba Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu a mọ̀ pé ẹ ní èrò rere fórílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ṣùgbọ́n a fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ ṣe kí ni kẹ́ ẹ ṣe àwọn tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ lò ẹ rí i wípé ẹ ṣe ìwádìí wọn fínífíní gbogbo àwọn tó sì ti bá ìjọba tó lọ ṣèjọba ẹ má dẹ́kun àti mọ́ túdì wọn wò torí wípé ibi tọ́rọ̀ Nàìjíríà dé lónìí ó ti wá fẹ́ di nǹkan míì eléyìí ni ó tún fẹ́ kí n mẹ́nuba àwọn nǹkan kan tíjọba tuntun bá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ gun orí oyè àwọn aráàlú ẹ̀já mọ́ ṣọ́ra torí wípé àwọn ẹgbẹ́ alátakò tá a bá fura wọ́n lè da nǹkan rú láìpẹ́ yìí a rí páwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ wọn láwọn ó daṣẹ́ lẹ̀ a sọ pé bóyá tí wọ́n ń jà fún kì í ṣẹ̀tọ́ wọn kódà ẹ̀tọ́ aráàlú ni lóòótọ́ ṣùgbọ́n kò ní í dáa káwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ wá jẹ́ kí àwọn ẹgbẹ́ alátakò kí wọ́n máa lò wọ́n torí wípé tá a bá ní ká lọ wádìí ìfín kókò láti wò wípé gbogbo táwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ ń ṣe yìí ǹjẹ́ wọ́n ṣe torí ìfẹ́ ara wọn ni a rí wípé kọ́lọ́fín bẹ́ẹ̀ torí ipáwọn ẹgbẹ́ alátakò rí ipáwọn ò wọlé ẹ mọ̀ wàá sọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà dìdàkudà ẹ mọ̀ sórí orílẹ̀-èdè ẹ mọ̀ jà dorí orílẹ̀-èdè kodo láìpẹ́ yìí ohun tá a rí ni wípé àwọn ẹgbẹ́ Labour Party ṣé ká sọ pé torí wípé wọ́n fara pẹ́ Labour Congress ni nígbà táwọn ẹgbẹ́ alátakò tí wọ́n bá ń ti àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ tí wọ́n wá ní kí wọ́n dojú ìjà kọ ìjọba àpapọ̀ ẹ̀yin ọmọ Nàìjíríà kí lẹ lérò pé yóò tibẹ̀ jáde náà ẹ já mọ́ fura o torí wípé tí a bá fi àyè gba tí òye àfàyè gbà wọ́n lórí ọkàn ni yóò padà wá kọ́ sí gbogbo wa mú náà nígbẹ̀yìn fèrè ogun ni wọ́n ń fún yìí a sì gbọ́dọ̀ tẹ́tí bẹ̀lẹ̀ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ ohun tí wọ́n ń sọ torí wípé a ti dìbò àwọn olóṣèlú wọ́n ti lọ sí pápá láti lọ ṣe kíni nígbà tí wọ́n lọ pápá a ti yan ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè ẹ̀yin ọmọ Nàìjíríà lóòótọ́ gbogbo wa la mọ̀ ń tà dojú kọ ṣùgbọ́n mo fẹ́ rán wa létí wípé kó tó di wípé wúrà ó ṣe kíni yóò dán yóò lànà kọjá wọ́n sì sọ pé tá a bá ní àsìn òkúta jiná a gbọ́dọ̀ ní sùúrù ni kí ohun gbogbo tó lè da sùúrù láàní ìjọba tó gorí oyè yìí ẹ ṣe já fún wọn láyè díẹ̀ ẹ já lọ sókè lọ́hùn kẹ́ ẹ wá lọ kẹ́ ẹ lè gbẹ̀rí ọ̀rọ̀ tí mò ń sọ ìjẹ́ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ Labour Party ẹ mọ̀ rí gbogbo kinní wọn nínú ọ́fíìsì àwọn Nigerian Labour Congress kí ló ń wá ń bẹ̀ léyìí tó túmọ̀ sí wípé gbogbo táwọn Labour Congress ń ṣe yìí àló ní ọwọ́ kan àbòsí inú ẹja dókè lọ́nà mò ń bọ̀.
So I'm at the Labour House now, which is supposed to be a federal government building and the headquarters for Labour Congress. You can see it was commissioned by Mr. Obasanjo. So I want to show you something. I'm going all the way. You see? This is the NLC logo, and this are Labour Party banners. Nigeria Labour Congress, Labour Party. Nigeria Labour Congress, Labour Party Secretariat, Peter Obi. You can see that's the Secretariat. So, why are we going to take these people seriously when we know they are an arm of the Labour Party just trying to disrupt the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu? What up? Let us repeat this aggressively and let the world know that the Nigerian Labour Congress right now is not working in the interest of Nigeria or Nigeria's workers or Nigerians as a whole, but are working for their selfish interest and are working for the failed efforts of Peter Obi presidency. So they are trying to use this strike, this opportunity of the fuel subsidy, to truncate this government. You can see over there their bosses.
Àṣìlóòótọ́ ni pé ìlera tẹ̀rí yẹn òun gangan ló ògùn ọ̀rọ̀.
Ǹjẹ́ ẹ tiẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ká gbápá kó ṣeé gbé?
Kí a nọ̀sẹ̀ kó ṣe náà. Ìyẹn gangan ni wọ́n ń pè ní mo wà lóní kánpé àlàáfíà táyọ̀.
Ọ̀yá ìwà gbọ́ nípa ilé iṣẹ́ OEA and short spices.
tí ọlọ́run jogún àṣírí tewétegbò fún láti fi wá ìyanjú sí àìlera ẹni. irú àrùn wo ló ń bá ọ fínra? ṣé jẹjẹrẹ ni? ìdákọ́lẹ̀, ikọ́ àti àrùn míì tí ò ṣeé fojú rí? ẹ má wú oògùn jìnnà mọ́. ó yá ní ilé-iṣẹ́ OEA herbs and shrub spices.
àwọn oògùn wa ní ọṣẹ kòkòrò,
PNEN herbal tea, favour soap,
PNEN cream àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. fún ìbéèrè àti àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ kàn sí ilé-iṣẹ́ wa tó wà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn ní
OEA compound along Old Ondo Benin Express Road adjacent Bena Farm Junction beside Ogun State College of Health Technology Ilese Ìjẹ̀bú, Ogun State. tàbí ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó block 412 flat 2 opposite Old Olympic office ilé ìwé bus stop Jakonde Estate Òkèàfà Ìsọlọ̀. ẹ̀lú wọn rèé +234 915 049 1169 tàbí +234 818 653 6480. OEA herbs and shrub spices ló wí pé
má fi ìlera rẹ ṣeré, rí i dájú pé o wà lóní kàńpé.
ẹ káàbọ̀ padà sórí ètò wa, ètò yín ètò ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń lọ. ṣé ẹ rójú ayé bí? àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́, ǹjọ́ wá dá kó yẹ kí ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ kí wọ́n máa darapọ̀ mọ́ ẹgbẹ́ olóṣèlú kí wọ́n máa fi dà lóru bí? èrè wo ló fẹ́ mú jáde nínú gbogbo ìwà yìí? torí wípé ẹ̀yin ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ lọ ṣọ́ra yín, torí wípé tí ẹ bá darapọ̀ máwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú láti dorílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà rú, kódà ẹ̀yin gan náà mọ̀ wípé nǹkan tí ó tẹ̀yìn rẹ̀ jáde kò ní dáa. torí wípé ẹ mọ̀ ohun tí mo fẹ́ kó dá yín lójú ni pé yóò dákẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká ní sùúrù ká fi yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ yìí. torí wípé ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wọlé tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ gbọ̀pá àṣẹ, ẹja fún wọn láyè. gbogbo wa la mọ̀ ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ìjọba tó lọ, àti pé nígbà tí ìjọba tó lọ tiẹ̀ ń bẹ lórí oyè, ẹ̀yin ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú, gbogbo ẹ̀yin ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́, ǹjẹ́ àyè wà fún yín láti ṣe gbogbo ohun tẹ́ ń ṣe ìbí? torí náà ẹja da ọ̀rọ̀ ìró. tá a bá gbàgbé ńgbà tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò lónìí, mo sọ pé ìpele 4 òun ni ọ̀rọ̀ mi ó pín sí. a ti sọ ti bàbá wa Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, mo ti mẹ́nuba tẹ̀yìn ẹgbẹ́ alátakò, mo mẹ́nuba ti àwọn gómìnà, ṣùgbọ́n ó ń tù wá sọ nǹkan kan. ẹ̀yin gómìnà wa kí ló wá dé? kí ló dé tá a ṣe yàn yín sípò? torí wípé ó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ wípé ètò ààbò ìpínlẹ̀ yín ìkáwọ́ yín ló wà. gbogbo ohun tó sì jẹ́ ẹ̀tọ́ àwọn aráàlú dandan ni ó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ ṣe fún wa. ohun tó bá wá yẹ kí gómìnà ó ṣe, tí gómìnà bá wá kọ̀ tí ò bá wá ṣe, tó bá wá di pé aráàlú ló wá ń ṣe tó yẹ kí gómìnà ó ṣe, irú kí la fẹ́ pe léyìí? ẹ̀yin aráalé, ọ̀rọ̀ kàyéfì kan ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí mi nínú ìjáde wa àti àwọn ìwádìí kan tá a ṣe nílùú Abẹ́òkúta. arákùnrin kan ń bẹ, orúkọ rẹ̀ á máa jẹ́ Kazeem Dosùnmú, ní agbègbè Ìtẹ̀síwájú ní Olókùúta nídìí Àbá. agbègbè àwọn arákùnrin ojú ọ̀nà táwọn ènìyàn ń gbà ó ti bàjẹ́ débi pé tójò bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní rọ̀ àwọn èèyàn ò ní lè gbabẹ̀ kọjá. gbogbo eléyìí ń bẹ nínú ojúṣe gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan, torí wípé ojú òpópónà ẹ̀tọ́ gómìnà ní láti bá wa ṣe. ṣùgbọ́n kàkà káwọn gómìnà mójútó ohun tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ojú ọ̀nà yìí ó wá di nǹkan míì débi pé àwọn ará àdúgbò yìí ó wá di ìnilára fún wọn. ṣùgbọ́n arákùnrin tá à ń pè ní Kazeem Dosùnmú yìí, arákùnrin yìí mọ̀ ṣe bẹ́bẹ́. kódà ohun tó ṣe ó jẹ́ ohun tó yani lẹ́nu. arákùnrin yìí wá ṣe ojú òpópónà orí afárá sójú ọ̀nà yìí láti rí i wípé àwọn èèyàn mọ̀ lè gbabẹ̀ kọjá. gbogbo tó yẹ kí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ ò ṣe, gómìnà tó bá kọ̀ tí ò bá ṣe tó yẹ kó ṣe, á jẹ́ pé ó ti já àwọn aráàlú kulẹ̀ ni. ṣó wá yẹ kírú gómìnà bẹ́ẹ̀ ò tún rí ìbò àwọn aráàlú bí? ohun tí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ kó yé wa ni wípé ẹ̀yin gómìnà wa tẹ́ ẹ bá ṣe dáadáa ìkànnì BGI TV wọ́n lù yín lọ́gọ̀ ẹnu bó bá sì kù díẹ̀ káàtó torí wípé àáwì tí aṣarán fún aṣarán àáwì tí aṣaràn fún aṣaràn ẹja dókè lọ́hùn ká lọ wo ohun tí bàbá yìí ṣe Kazeem Dosùnmú ó ṣe bẹbẹ ẹja dọ̀nà mò ń bọ̀.
mi ìtàlíkà ọlọ́run ni mi ò ní mọ́tò pé màá ná kàdà so mi ì ní mọ́tò mi ì ná kàdà ẹ bá lọ fowó ìràkà á lè ṣe bíríìjì mọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí n kúkú fèsì ẹ̀ kí n mọ̀ pé ibi tọ́lọ́run ràn mí lọ́wọ́ dé nìyẹn.
ṣé kan tó ṣe bíríìjì tí n bá máa lára jà báyìí máa tẹ̀ ṣoṣo tàbí kí n dúró lẹ́rùn bẹ̀ yẹn kí n máa wá èèyàn tó máa bá mi gbé sọdá sí òdì kejì.
ẹ lórí pé kí n ṣáà lè ṣàṣeyọrí ẹ owó sukú àwọn ọmọ mi títí tí àti lé wọn wálé mo ti fi ra rin rí o. orúkọ mi ni Kazeem Dosùnmú àdúgbò tá a wà yìí ní ìtẹ̀síwájú community olókùúta ìdíàbà òkè odò tí mo ti wà ládùúgbò yìí at least abábùkéré àti tó bóyá bíi 13 years ìgbà tí mo kọ́kọ́ dé àdúgbò yìí èèyàn kan ò ṣíwájú mi dádùúgbò yìí gbogbo environment wa yìí gbogbo community wa tá a dárúkọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan lọ désẹ̀lẹ̀ lọ́hùn mi ò réèyàn kankan gbogbo ìgbà tí mo dẹ̀ dé náà parun àwọn bambú rẹpẹtẹ ní gbogbo àdúgbò ni tẹ bá ti yọ lókè yẹn ẹ máa sá padà pé gbóná mú mi lọ yìí so tẹ bá fẹ́ múyàn wá wo nǹkan gan tí tẹ́ bá ti lè mú gba one extension kò mí rò pé nìyẹn lè tẹ̀lé yín débi báyìí ó máa sá padà lọ́nà ni tí ó bá yẹ pé bóyá ẹni tó ẹ pọ̀ ti even gan àwọn èèyàn kì í gbà bí torí pé kò sọ́nà tán fẹ́ gbà so later lèmi náà ṣe wá decide pé wẹ́ bóyá kí n kúkú ṣe omi yẹn gan ò tí pọ̀ tó yìí ń gbà yẹn omi yẹn ò tí pọ̀ tó yìí later mo decide pé ok bóyá kí n kúkú ṣe èyí tó máa jẹ́ kíní ọlọ́pàá àrùn kátẹ̀ sì máa fi kọjá ìgbà tó yá omi yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí expand ó di ohun tí mo lọ ra òpó náà so máa ra òpó náà bíi méjì nígbà tó yá ó kọ́kọ́ ń gba bíi méjì lọ́wọ́ mi máa ra méjì ìgbà tó yá ó tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí gbà ju méjì lọ́wọ́ mi yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fẹ̀ so later mo wá rí pé ó ti wá di ohun táwọn ọmọ school náà ti ń kọjá ń bí báyìí tó yẹ pé tán bá àwọn tó ń gbé abúlé àké bóyá àwọn tó ń lọ sí ọ̀nà ládìrín tó fẹ́ gba short cut ní bí báyìí ó wá di ohun tá a tẹ̀ tí ń réyàn kan bíi méjì wọ́n á pé at least má lè ṣe kínní pé bóyá tí má tẹ̀ lè ṣe olóòpó náà táwọn ọmọ yẹn ò bá ń sá so á lè máa rí bí gbà bí kọjá àdúgbò àtúnyàtọ̀ ìgbà ní COVID-19 ẹ̀ mo wá decide pé jẹ́ kí n wo nǹkan tí n bá lè ṣe so fortunately mo ṣáà wò pé ok mo ṣáà bẹ̀rẹ̀ díẹ̀ ẹnìkan wá ní nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ yẹn ó máa cost mi lówó pé èyí táwọn ṣe níbi àdúgbò wọn gan ó cost àwọn lówó tí ò ń ṣe owó kékeré tó yẹ pé àwọn jáná lé ara wọn gan ni wọn á ní kí la fẹ́ ṣe oní ti bá lè ṣe pé ó máa wà ókè o mo ní wẹ̀ no problem àti ní COVID-19 yẹn mo ṣáà ti tara bọ̀ àwọn tẹ́ ń wò nísàlẹ̀ yẹn gbogbo àwọn tó wà nísàlẹ̀ yẹn mo ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kásẹ̀ láti ní COVID-19 díẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n tó wá di ọdún yìí lọ́lọ́run bá mi ṣe àṣeyọrí ẹ̀ pátápátá tí n bá ti fẹ́ pé mi gan tí n bá sùn ọkàn mi balẹ̀ pé mo rí àṣeyọrí nǹkan yìí ṣe.
ṣé kan tó ṣe bíríìjì tí n bá máa lára jà báyìí máa tẹ̀ ṣoṣo tàbí kí n dúró lẹ́rùn bẹ̀ yẹn kí n máa wá èèyàn tó máa bá mi gbé sọdá sí òdì kejì nígbà tí mo dé pọ́n ṣe àdúrà tí èmi fúnra mi tí mo dáṣẹ fún ọ báyìí ó máa mọ wọn ó dẹ̀ máa mọ ẹlẹ́dàá wọn. nígbà tí wọ́n dẹ̀ ti ṣe yìí òjò rọ̀ à ń làrajà òjò kò rà á máa làrajà torí tójò bá tẹ̀ kọ̀kọ́ rọ̀nà ìrònú máa bá wa àti làrajà kò sí mọ́ a máa dúró sílé ni ó dẹ̀ díjọ́ kejì tódò yẹn bá fà ká tó lè lọ rajà.
tí má ní kí n kọ́ ọ̀sẹ̀ mi ò lè sọ pé a wọ 10 million plus more than that ó máa jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ because ṣe mọ̀ pé nígbà míì ó dàbẹ̀ ní pé ẹni tó ń dájọ́ téèyàn yẹn wá ń dájọ́ bóyá ó lọ wá kóló kan tó ń dájọ́ yẹn sí bóyá ó ń dájọ́ yẹn ìjọ 5 naira ìjọ 10 naira ìjọ 20 naira ìjọ 50 naira kó máa dá àwọn nǹkan yẹn so ìgbà tó bá di kó lọ fọ́ kóló yẹn tó bá wọnú ẹ̀ ló máa gbà ṣé pé mo ti ní owó tó tó yìí níbí báyìí because of pé kì í ṣe pé bóyá ó fi owó yẹn síbẹ̀ kì í ṣì ṣe mọ̀ ìjọ tí èèyàn rí 1 million naira ìjọ tí èèyàn rí 500,000 ìjọ tí èèyàn rí 100,000 ìjọ mi tàbá tọ̀ gẹ̀dẹ̀ tátajà ló kù máa wò ká.
ẹ káàbọ̀ padà ẹ̀yin aráalé ẹ wá rójú ayé bí báyìí ojúṣe àwọn gómìnà wa ojúṣe àwọn ìjọba wa ó wá di ohun tó jẹ́ pé àwọn aráàlú owó tó yẹ kán tó fi jẹun tẹ́ ẹ bá gbọ́ arákùnrin wọ́n lé àwọn ọmọ rẹ̀ léèwé owó tó yẹ kó ná lórí ẹ̀kọ́ àwọn ọmọ òun ló tún ná láti fi ṣe ojú òpópónà afárá fún àwọn aráàlú láti mọ̀ gbà. ìjọyẹ orí bẹ́ẹ̀ bí ẹ̀yin ìjọba wa gbogbo àrélù àjápọ̀ jálù tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí ibo lẹ lérò pé yóò padà wá já sí? ohun tó lè ti ẹ̀yìn rẹ̀ jáde ǹjẹ́ ẹ ti ẹ̀rọ bí? ẹ̀yin adarí wa ẹ̀ ń re òkè òkun ẹ rí bí gbogbo ìlú wọn ṣe rí, kí ló dé tẹ̀ lé wá ṣe ń tẹ̀ ń wò lọ́hùn kẹ́ ẹ wá ṣe sórílẹ̀-èdè wa? tẹ́ ẹ bá ń ṣe báyìí lọ ó túmọ̀ sí pé ẹ fẹ́ jẹ́ kíjọba ó dẹnu kọlẹ̀ ni. kó mọ̀ bá wá rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yóò dáa pé kẹ́ ẹ sún ṣòkòtò yín gírí kẹ́ ẹ sì ṣe ń tó tọ́ àti ń tó yẹ, torí wípé àwọn àgbà bọ̀ wọ́n ní wèrè sún ìgbà tí wèrè bá sún kọ̀ gírí yóò padà wá kọjú sí ni yóò bu ni jẹ. èyí ń fẹ́yìn gómìnà wa torí wípé èmi ń sọ tèmi, ohun tí mo sì fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ ni wípé tẹ́ ẹ bá kọ̀ tẹ́ ẹ bá lẹ́ẹ̀ní ṣe ń tó tọ́ fáwọn aráàlú ohun tí ó tẹ̀yìn rẹ̀ yọ kódà apá yín ò ní lè kà. ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu àmọ̀ràn tẹ́mi ó fún yín ni wípé ẹ rí i wípé gbogbo àwọn ẹni tó fẹ́ bá yín ṣiṣẹ́ nínú ìjọba yìí gbogbo ohun tẹ́ ẹ bá ti fi lélẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kó fi ń mọ̀ tẹ̀lé. owó tẹ́ ẹ bá fi ránṣẹ́ sáwọn ìpínlẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan ẹ gbé ìgbìmọ̀ kan kalẹ̀ kí wọ́n mọ̀ ṣe òfin tó tó bí wọ́n ṣe náwó náà sí. torí wípé ìgbà ní àmọ́ wà ẹ lè nípinnu rere ṣùgbọ́n kó ṣe pé àwọn alájẹbánu ni wọ́n irú èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ kà tí wọ́n sì ní jẹ́ kí iṣẹ́ ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ kó yọ. ẹ̀yin ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ẹ̀yin lọ̀rọ̀ wá kàn báyìí torí wípé bí gbogbo nǹkan ṣe ń lọ yìí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín ló ti ń pariwo wípé ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Niger bóyá tí ò bá sì ṣeé ṣe mọ́ bóyá kírù rẹ̀ wá ṣẹlẹ̀ lórílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ẹ jẹ́ rán yín létí wọ́n lẹ́ni tí Ṣàngó bá tojú ẹ̀ wọlẹ̀ kò ní bá wọn bọ́ba àkóso. ẹ mọ̀jà jẹ́ ẹni tí ó mọ̀ gbàgbé nǹkan ní kíákíá. ẹ mọ̀ gbàgbé ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà ní January 1966 torí pé tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ńgbà náà kódà ẹni tí ó rà ó san àìmọye ẹ̀mí ló ṣòfò dànù nígbà táwọn ológun ó gbàjọba lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà. ní kété tí wọ́n sì gbàjọba gbogbo wa la mọ̀ ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀. kò sì pẹ́ sàkókò náà nínú ọdún náà ni ìgbà tí èdè July ọdún 1966 àwọn míì náà tún jọba gbà. kódà bàbá ò mọ ọmọ mọ́ o ọmọ ò mọ bàbá o. ẹ̀yin aráalé ẹja dókè lọ́hùn ìmọ̀ fi yín lẹ̀ pẹ̀lú fọ́nrán tí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ lọ wò yìí. tá a bá jẹ́ alákọ̀ọ́gbàgbé ìfọ́nrán yìí yóò wá rán wa létí ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ọdún 1966 nígbà tí wọ́n gbàjọba lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà. gbogbo bí kú ṣe kú bọ́bẹ̀ ṣe bẹ́ gbogbo rẹ̀ lẹ́gbọ̀ọ́ lórí fọ́nrán tá a fẹ́ lọ wò yìí. ǹjẹ́ ó tán lẹ́nu ni ó kù síkùn? ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu wọ́n ní bó bá kọ wájú sí ọkọ ọ̀tá bó bá kọ̀yìn sí ọkọ ọ̀tá bó bá wá kù wọ nìkan kó o tún èrò ara rẹ pa. gbogbo ẹ̀yin gómìnà òwe ni ọ̀rọ̀ yìí pa fún yín o. ohun tó bá yẹ kẹ́ ẹ ṣe o torí pé orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ti gbogbo wa ni. tẹ́ ẹ bá lérò wípé ẹ fẹ́ ba ẹ̀dẹ̀ jẹ́ torí pé ẹ fẹ́ lọ sẹ́dẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá kú ò lẹ́dẹ̀ ibo lẹ́ padà sí náà. ẹ̀yin aráalé ẹ jẹ́ mọ́ fi ilẹ̀ pẹ̀lú fọ́nrán yìí. orúkọ mi ò yí padà Ọlálékan Ìgè àrólé bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ ló tún dágbére fún yín pé ó dìgbà kan náà nà ẹ ṣeun.
Was Murtala Muhammad not the leader of that coup?
Murtala Muhammad was the architect and a very hot head that we know history says and describes him was the major actor, planner. But he stayed back in Ikeja. The mandate was to the mutineers to strike when they get to Ibadan. Not do it in Kaduna for the political consequences. Not in Enugu nor Benin, but they chose Ibadan. Ibadan had been marked for the operation. But Murtala Muhammad was the actor behind the scene.
Who was Theophilus Danjuma to the head of state?
Thank you very much. Captain Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma was the chief security officer to the head of state, Major General Ironsi. He was, as we know, CSO. They are to protect the life of the person and his or her family. So Danjuma was the chief security officer to Ironsi.
The chief security officer
Yes.
killed the man he was meant to protect.
In his, he made some statements shortly after, about 20 years ago or so. He said the intention was just to kidnap Ironsi, put him on trial, and explain the reason why his government had not prosecuted the Major Kaduna Nzeogu team that led the first military coup. That the intention was just to arrest Ironsi, take him to a trial, and ask questions. But he said suddenly, when they were descending the stair of Government House Agodi, one of the RSMs, subaltern that he used to arrest Ironsi, became uncontrollable. And that it was that young middle officer who ordered the firing of Ironsi and Fajui.
Carried out the coup, did not emerge as the leader of the country. Aguiyi Ironsi at that time was the head of the army. I am not sure he was part of the coup. Was he part of the January coup?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. Despite being the supreme commander, the GOC, yes, he was the GOC of the Nigerian army, but later became the supreme commander on being appointed the military head of state. But he wasn't part of it. The master planner was Ife Ajuna, a graduate from the University of Ibadan, who held the high jump record in Nigeria and West Africa. He consulted with his fellow Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzeogu.
Hot-headed.
A revolutionary. Nzeogu was a true revolutionary because in his broadcast on 15 January 1966, which can be Googled, he said, among others, the plan of this government, as you have rightly said, is to eliminate corruption, accusing Nigerian politicians of not only being 10%ers, they've graduated to 100%ers. Another focus, he said, was they were going to release Chief Obafemi Awolowo from the Calabar prison, where he was serving a 10-year jail, put him as the head of state, and give him military muscle for 6 months. Upon the stabilization of the future Awolowo federal government, he, Chukwuma Kaduna Nzeogu, will resign his commission from the Nigerian army and go to the then South Africa to fight apartheid.
Remember, it's a class of politics and power.
Yes.
It's still the story of Aguiyi Ironsi, Adekunle Fajui. You know who the statue of Adekunle Fajui is somewhere in Dubai, opposite Union Bank. Is it Union Bank? Around that first bank in Dubai there. How many of you know?
It's called the Ido Cenotaph, Dubai.
You know, it's until 2 years ago I noticed that was Adekunle Fajui.
I just was, who is this military officer? I walked in. I said, Adekunle Fajuyi, my guy.
The colonialists built that spot and put the unknown soldier dressed in the subaltern uniform of the typical African soldier, as you also have at Idumota in Lagos. So one day, one of the military administrators removed the British statue of the African soldier and took it to the government house, Agodi, facing the government house. And when the civilian came, they thought it was a bad symbol for democracy. A soldier facing the government house, Agodi Ibadan. So they removed it, transferred it back to Ido Cenotaph. Then another military officer came and said, no, instead of the unknown soldier, put the effigy of Lieutenant Colonel Francis Adekunle Fajuyi, the man who exhibited this world standard ethics of the army.
Loyalty.
Thank you.
Loyalty.
Bravery, loyalty, and honor.
He died for his boss.
Oh God. He had every opportunity to escape or negotiate with the young mutineers. But no. He said, no, you should have taken him in Kaduna or Enugu or Benin, not here. What do you want me to say to Nigerians and the world? And you people, do you realize that myself and the Supreme Commander, we have been friends from the Congo because they were friends.
Yeah.
Even though Ironsi was his senior. And both of them were chubby. But Ironsi was taller, but they look alike, sort of. And they were friends. So he said, rather than betray my friend, my Supreme Commander, no, I will die with him, along with him.
And they died together.
The Land Rover that was driven out of the government house, Agodi, was almost moving when Fajuyi jumped inside it, because they were giving him the option. They said, sir, we have not come for you, rather we have come for this man. And that word man was the thing that infuriated Fajuyi most. A major general, GOC of the Nigerian Army, now Supreme Commander of Nigerian Forces, military head of state, you are referring to him as that man.
Perhaps he didn't understand the reality of a coup at that time.
That will be. Yes, that. Until a coup is successful. What's it? Where the where they execute them. If a coup fails, the planners know they are going to end because my execution. It is when it is successful that now you start saluting. Like Niger now. It's successful. Some coups fail, even at planning stage. Babangida is on record of being the meanest executioner of so-called coup planners twice. During the alleged Vasa coup of December 1985 and during the April 20, 1999 purge of Major Gideon Oka.
If Gideon Oka and Co had caught him.
42 young officers were executed despite the pleas from the world. Babangida executed them, wanting to make it known plainly to everybody in the armed forces that if you fail, you get the death certificate.
Babangida that took away his best man, Mamad Vasa, he killed him.
The son of Mamad Vasa, till tomorrow, insists that his father was honest or not guilty of the allegation against him. Even the wife, they are all still standing on the denial that Mama Vasa didn't plan any coup against Babangida. More so, not only Babangida's best man, the man who got the entrance form to NDA for Babangida. So you have to beware of friends. There are many lessons to learn. beware of that man, your so-called closest friend. Because when Nzeogwu was rounded up in Kaduna and put in detention, he still insisted that there will be war between the North and the South, and that he was going to lead the war of the North. When he heard that Ironsi had been invited by the Senate in Lagos, the Senate president was Senator Nwafo Orizu, who invited the head of the army to take over. And Nzeogwu said no.
Was that invitation voluntary?
It was constitutional because they met. The Federal Executive Council quickly met.
Did they have any option?
They did. They didn't.
The military boys were already on rampage.
They didn't. And when they were hearing, and the things were getting clearer, that Nzeogwu was a revolutionary, and he didn't care a hoot. And they read the speech at that address, 100%ers, and he said they were going to deal with them. They quickly assembled and said, please, head of the army, come and take over.
You could see the way he took Ahmadu Bello out.
Oh.
That was, something I don't want to read about it.
Nzeogwu was a favorite of Sir Ahmadu Bello, because not only was Nzeogwu born in Kaduna and given the middle name of Kaduna, Chukwuma Kaduna Nzeogwu, he was the typical Hausa man. Language, character, fashion, and all. There is a picture of Sir Ahmadu Bello hugging Cadet Nzeogwu.
But why was Nzeogwu so hard on him?
Because when they planned the coup, I had the opportunity of interviewing late Major Ademoyega, 1981, 42 years ago, on my program, Speak Out, at the NTA Ibadan. It's just like yours, current affairs program, 30 minutes. And that was the first time Major Ademoyega will come out in public, because the radical University of Ife lecturers and students had invited him to deliver a lecture. That's where I caught him. And the recording was done in the residence of Dr. Yemi Ogunbiyi, who was then a lecturer in Ife. I remember what I went through. Twice the recording was stopped by the radical lecturers. They said, look, you are an agent of the Shagari government. They stopped the interview twice because I asked the question, sir, that's Major Ademoyega, why was there no northerner in your team that carried out the first coup? He answered. I think the radicals were. When I asked another question, they said, no, stop this recording. Get out from here. Agent of Shagari government. Why are you asking him? But level-headed Major Ademoyega, he said, please, let him ask me any question. I will answer him. He's doing his job. Let him ask the question the public probably wanted him to ask.
Chuku was in the north when Kaduna and Nzeogwu struck.
Yeah, he was in Kano.
Kaduna and Nzeogwu was in Kaduna?
Yes, it was.
How? Is it that Ojukwu did not know that a coup was going to take place?
Well, one may get feelers, but no coup planner will be, sorry to use the word, daft as to expose their plan. So it's always kept close to the chest, known only to the inner members of the planners. So Ojukwu wasn't aware, but it was already in the air. As of December 1965, anybody could pick that Nigeria was getting to the precipice.
Operation Wet Year.
Oh, God.
Must have been the trigger.
That was it.
Because when we discuss the Civil War,
yes,
we tend to forget that the problem started from the Western region.
Because of the unnecessary intervention of the Tafawa Balewa-led federal government into the affairs of Western region.
Sending Awolowo to prison.
Thank you. Then number two, Action Group Party, like any political party in the world, had internal crisis, whereby the party leadership expelled the deputy national president of the party, Chief Samuel Ladoke Akitola, who happened to be the premier of Western region. So the contention was Akintola should abide, because Nigeria was running the parliamentary system then, should abide with the constitution. That is, once your party says you are expelled, then you go to the polls in the assembly and you test your popularity. But if the odd is against you, you go. But Akintola refused to go.
He was backed by the federal power.
Because he had run to Ahmadu Bello first and then Tafawa Balewa, and they promised him, don't fear. If they expel you on paper, they won't be able to expel you on the ground.
And those three musketeers were taken down by the so-called Igbo military officers.
Yes, they were. But
were they fighting for Awolowo?
From the record and his history background, Chukwuma Kaduna Ide Nzeogwu was a revolutionary, like the Sankara mode. So he was sincere. That's why his speech generally was talking about corruption, and corruption. But if only the Ironsi, the head of GOC of the army, had not been given power by the Senate, and Nzeogwu had led the revolution. But why did Nzeogwu stay back in Kaduna to kill his mentor?
He was a revolutionary.
Yeah, as it were. Because most of the officers backed out. Who was going to face Ahmadu Bello? Who? They said, no, not me. So everybody backed out. Then he said, I will.
He walked into his bedroom.
He said he will. And what did he do? He now gave the group of soldiers that he took to Sardauna's residence, if after 10 minutes I don't come out, bring this building down. To show you that he had passion for the assignment he took, and he had a hand grade. So at the nick of the 10 minutes which he gave the boys on the ground, he jumped from the upstairs. That's why if you see that picture, his right hand was in a sling, and the microphone was held for him by Major Hassan Usman Katsina, the military governor.
The boys in Lagos did not carry out the details of the coup. They should have taken out Aguiyi Ironsi. He was the head of the army.
He was. But Aguiyi Ironsi, when they got to his house, like the Abacha episode, Aguiyi Ironsi was at a social party. Aguiyi Ironsi was dancing the night away somewhere.
But some people felt they were weak, because Kaduna Zogu did his own job clinically. Then the Eastern region, we should look at it.
Yes. Dr. Michael Okpara was the premier. But he was hosting the president of Greece. Yeah, he was hosting, what's his name now? The Greek president, who was on a state visit. And he had escorted him to the airport. Sir Makarios. That's what saved the neck of Okpara. But Nigerians didn't want to hear that. They said, you should have gone to the airport, let Makarios fly, then do what you did to Premier Ahmadu Bello, Premier Akintola to Premier Okpara.
Azikiwe vanished from the country.
Azikiwe got to know he had been given a hint, and he said he was going on a world cruise.
Who gave him a hint?
Everybody has agents everywhere.
But Ahmadu Bello knew there was going to be a coup.
Oh, he was so confident.
He was confident that it was going to happen to him.
And this is the truth. Because Professor Soyinka was marked for execution. Mr. Tasholari was marked for execution for being a thorn in Western region on the premier and invariably the NPC government. So I went to African Church Grammar School, Apata Ganga Ibadan, for 1964, a border. Soldiers had been positioned inside government college campus.
To do what?
To deal with Western radicals.
So the coup struck on time.
Then Akintola went on a Friday, on a Thursday. There's the military, the coup was on Saturday, January 15th. Akintola was in Kaduna on Thursday, January 13th. When he got there, they said Ahmadu Bello was here to return from Mecca. Ahmadu Bello was always observing his Jumat in Mecca and Medina. So Akintola had to wait. When he got back, he went to meet Ahmadu Bello at the Kaduna airport. Ahmadu Bello told him, SLA, go back to Ibadan. Put your mind at rest, because they said they had targeted their own to take place on January 17, 1966. So Akintola returned with the hope and the assurance given to him by Sir Ahmadu Bello. So one group executed ahead of the other. There were two groups planning to topple, one to topple Balewa government and the states, and the other one to deal with the so-called radicals who are troubling them.
Eze Keulezi says, how lovely it would be if our politicians were also ordered to give account of their stewardship like Niger. They need this kind of treatment urgently. Let me tell you something. The worst democratic government is better than a military government, from my own opinion.
Chief Awolowo also said that.
So if you are celebrating what's going on in Niger, I'm not with you. Yes, African politicians have messed up the system, but the military will not do better. Have we recovered from that January coup and the counter coup?
If it had been executed the way it was planned to cover the whole country and not leave out a section, Eastern region, that's one. Two, Major Nzeogu in his speech, and I still believe him till tomorrow, was they planned to take Awolowo out of Calabar prison because Awolowo was jailed on trumped-up charges of treasonable felony. Install him. They said they will back him with the military might for about 6 months. Once Awolowo government stabilized, Nzeogu said he was going to resign his commission in the Nigerian army and go to South Africa. That's a radical.
But again, you know, when you gain power, it becomes a different ball game. Sylvanus Olympio in Togo was revolutionary. When he gained power, Sylvanus Olympio didn't want to leave anymore.
We don't know why the black man, on getting power, and it's not only in politics, social services, commerce, mention it. Once the black man gets power, he's going to change. What's his name?
Sorry, I used the word Sylvanus Olympia. I mean in Yadema.
Oh, the longest.
Yes,
okay,
Yadema of Togo.
Oh, yeah.
He overthrew Sylvanus Olympio.
That's a Yadema, the friend of Gawan. So, Master Sergeant Samuel Doe.
Yeah.
First night in government house, Liberia.
Yeah.
Because Liberia was, and I think it's still fashioned after the USA. So on his first dinner in government house, chandelier, bright lights, covered, where they put food, everything glowing, glittering. He didn't know, he wasn't aware that there was a steward right behind him on table. So Sergeant Doe told his wife, "Hey, honey, we ain't gonna leave this place in a hurry." Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
He told his wife, honey, we are not going to leave this place in a hurry. When he saw chicken, baked beans, salmon, milk, is this how they eat? See him. In less than 5 years, he had changed physically.
He became bloated.
Bloated.
And he died there.
And he was doing Afro hairstyle. And when Yomi Johnson cut him and brought down the knife, and he was cutting his.
He was crying like a baby.
He was saying, Yomi, begging.
That's what power does to Africans.
And they get drunk.
So if Kaduna Nzogu had succeeded, perhaps he would have been one of those crazy dictators produced by Africa.
Please, I want. He was my hero. Please don't disrobe him.
Because from what we have seen from history, even in Egypt,
they do so.
None of them want to leave.
Yeah,
they didn't change their country.
They do so.
So I have this fear that Kaduna Nzogu would not have even changed Nigeria.
Now let me defend him, even though he's dead. His mother was always on his neck. Kaduna, please marry now. Look at your mates, they are married. I want to carry my grandchildren. And he will tell his mom, marriage is not the most Just wait for me, I will marry. But who? Oh, they have always been the.
You know, sometimes we think it's Fulani Hausa.
They have the meat betters have always been the ramrod that they will use to knock.
They even fought the war.
Now, they've changed.
Because they've seen the consequences.
You are just using us as a... There's a technical name for when you are using somebody as a battering rod. They have changed in the Middle West. Now they are in the front line for restructuring Nigeria.
Before you go.
Yes.
So you are celebrating Adekunle Fajuyi today?
Oh, with a lecture. But it's going to be a very modest... It's not the typical Nigerian lecture. I approached the late Governor Isiaq Abiola Ajimobi. Your Excellency, please, you need to develop tourism in Oyo State, which the present government says they are not going to tap into. Don't let the spot where Fajuyi and Ironsi were assassinated to go into oblivion. Do something about it. And he agreed. So his government did, they just marked the place out. Because Fajuyi's body was later moved to Ado for burial. And that of Ironsi was also moved to the east. So there is no skeleton, no body in Lalukon of Fajuyi or Ironsi. But that landmark is there now.
I need to go see it someday.
Oh, please come. The day we declared it open, a son of General Ironsi came. The one who served as junior minister of defense during the Obasanjo regime. He came.
Wow. Politics and power. Chief Lekan Alabi.
Yes, and excuse me, the self-styled military president of Nigeria, retired General Ibrahim Babangida, was shaken to his bone by the April 20, 1990 coup of Gideon Oka. Because Babangida had been priding himself all over the world that he was involved in all the military coups in Nigeria. So he couldn't believe his ears and eyes and mouth that he was caught pants down by Major Gideon Oka.
Abacha saved him, right?
It was just a matter of luck. They didn't switch. It was done on a Sunday. It was done on a Sunday. And it was not the day they chose. They had to fast forward.
And military coups are coming back in West Africa.
The people who called for it, didn't they jubilate in Nigeria?
They always jubilate, but at the end of the day, what happens?
Because civilians, and I'm sorry to say this, civilians will be telling them later, Your Excellency, and you know, it is then that the thing will start to fall in crumbs. Because if really, in the textbook manner of coup, soldiers shouldn't last more than 6 months.
Bola Tinubu should be worried.
BGI TV yìí mo fẹ́ máa wò ọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ tí ń gbèsè mo fẹ́ gbọ́ ètò lóríṣiríṣi wọ́n wà lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan ìròyìn tó kojú òṣùwọ̀n àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ àgbọ́ fi kọ́gbọ́n eré wọlé fún tẹ̀rù tọmọ tèwe tàgbà ẹ má fi para. BGI TV yìí mo fẹ́ máa wò ọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ tí ń gbèsè mo fẹ́ gbọ́ ètò lóríṣiríṣi wọ́n wà lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan ìròyìn tó kojú òṣùwọ̀n àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ àgbọ́ fi kọ́gbọ́n eré wọlé fún tẹ̀rù tọmọ tèwe tàgbà ẹ má fi para àdànà kó kọjá mórí nǹkan fèrè bàbá rere káwí parí BGI TV we are the pace setters. Bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ tẹlifíṣọ̀n station tí dòde.